Hey guys, this is Josh from The Rock, and hey, we're doing something totally different, something totally new that we've never done before at The Rock, but we're just going to try it. We're going to see how it goes. You might want to call this coffee conversations, and the idea is simply this, that each week we want to gather with maybe a different staff member, a different person from church, just somebody, and just talk about the message from the weekend, the experience from worship to preaching and all of that. And we're wanting to do it at our C3 Coffee Bar. I think many of you guys know that The Rock owns the C3 Coffee Bars, and it is a place of coffee, it is a place of conversation, it's a place of community. So you're going to hear people talking and laughing like you are right now. That's Amanda, one of our managers. Very distinct laugh, yes. You're going to hear grinders going off and espresso machines and all that, but that's just part of being at a bar, so I love it. So Clay, it was Super Bowl weekend.
Yep.
So tell me what your thoughts on the game last night before we even dive into the message.
Well, you know, I've got a theory today that I was cooking up this morning.
Okay, I love to hear this theory.
It is the day after the Super Bowl, and I currently feel like a couch. Like, if I could best describe how I feel today, I feel like a couch.
Like I can lean on your couch?
Yeah, definitely, just like that. No, like, I feel like so lethargic. And I was just thinking, we need to switch out one of those random Mondays that we get off during the year, like President's Day or something like that, and make the day after the Super Bowl a national holiday.
A national holiday?
Everybody gets off, everybody just goes, relaxes, and has a good time.
Like a national nap day or something.
Exactly.
I know why you need a nap.
Why
It's not because of the game. It's because of the 14 sliders you put down that Tim Bishop cooked up last night. Bro, Tim Bishop. Props, man.
Unreal.
Were those not the best?
I could not stop. I
saw-
didn't want to either. That was the problem.
I saw one young man, I won't say his name, but I will say he has the last name Finklea. I think I did see him putting away at least 8 of them. Because I saw 2 different plates, 4 on a plate each time.
The problem is I don't know if you're talking about me or Tate.
We're going to leave that unknown.
I thought the game was good. I thought the 49ers they should have won. They had most of the, I don't even want to say momentum. They just seemed like they were playing better most of the game. But it's kind of like what we said. Mahomes, he's so good that if you give up one bad stretch, you're going to lose the game. And they gave up that bad stretch with about 9 minutes left in the game. And
hey, Kansas City just likes playing from behind.
They do.
They do. Which makes me think about our series a little bit, honestly, from this idea of dating, that many times that we make mistakes and then we have to figure it out from there. So yesterday we handed out cards. We launched this new series, if you weren't there, called Save the Date. And one kind of fun thing our creative team did is they made these little Valentine's Day cards that you could pass out, kind of like the old, what do you call those things? The little hearts.
I don't know, but they're the most repug things.
They taste nasty,
awful.
But they're out every Valentine's Day. Anyway,
I don't know who. Does anybody actually eat those?
If somebody has to, because they are still so. Amanda, who is our producer, she's in the back shaking her head like, yes, people love them.
They're
okay,
so gross.
Well, we at least know Amanda likes them, so now we know what to give her in our office gift. Okay, we got to push into the sermon. All right, so I'm just going to skip through the beginnings about dating catastrophes, because I'm sure you've had a few. Which all the high schoolers are starting to ask their dates to prom. Some of those are going to go bad, like yours did when you asked that girl named Kelsey.
Yeah, that was
Kelsey, we love you. You're a great girl. I'm sure you're not watching this.
Guys, don't.
Jared, you're a great dude. I'm glad you guys are together. A godly marriage. So thankful for y'all. But let me just tell you, that was a funny thing.
Don't write on a girl's driveway when you go to prom with me and not know if she has a date already or not. It's a bad realization. It's a bad realization. That was an awkward text.
So we really talked about this idea of Ruth, and I love the book of Ruth because it's a story of a widow.
Yeah.
It's a love story of a widow who makes a decision to serve God and to follow God. And in the midst of doing so, she finds love again, but not just finds love in life, but also is able to give love and give life.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
we'll be talking about that for the next several weeks. But let me just ask this question, because I know we talked about this idea of too many times we walk away from God.
Yeah.
How would you say that, especially when it comes to dating or being single, or some decisions that we find ourselves walking away from God?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it's just based off searching for like an identity and searching for a certain emotional attachment to something. I think people all the time look for emotional attachments to everything in life, whether that's a job, whether that's a workout program, that might be a relationship. It's just, we have this innate something in us that says, man, I want to be attached to something emotionally. And where it often plays out is it naturally feels like it's supposed to be relationships. Because if you think about it, like friendships, obviously you feel close to your friends. You feel close to the people that you're dating, obviously. So you have these strong emotional feelings that you've been searching for like your entire life, that you haven't really experienced. So you're like, oh, that's where I need to put all my eggs in that basket, and I need to go and be with that person. I need to go experience life with that person, because that's when I'm really going to find who I'm supposed to be. That's where I'm supposed to find my identity. And there's a little aspect of that with the relationships. We are supposed to have emotional attachment in a relationship, but that's really more of a model for a relationship with God versus everything that it should be. And that's kind of the weird thing about it. Like, we're all searching for something, and we get a glimpse of what that looks like of our relationship with God inside of relationships. But sometimes we don't realize it's a glimpse, and we make it everything. Like, that relationship is everything to me.
Yeah.
Whether you are single, dating, or you're married, like, it's easy to get caught up in that mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think you said some great things about the emotional attachment there, because I think what happens sometimes on the emotional side is our emotions will lead us astray. Yeah. Like, you can kind of have something in your mind like, hey, I'm going to stick to this commitment, this is where I'm going, but your heart wants what your heart wants.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? And if you don't, if you're not careful, you'll totally head down the wrong road.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, we've seen that. You look at Elimelech, he went down the wrong road. You look at Mahlon and Chilion, they went down the wrong road. They all turned their backs on God.
Mm-hmm.
There was a point in the message where we really talked about this idea that like Ruth had a moment of conversion, where she said, "I'm going to turn and I'm going to make a decision." The other guys didn't do that, but Ruth did. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, what's that like in that moment of conversion where you're making that decision? How can we help people, make that commitment to truly turn?
Yeah, I think it was this moment of realization for Ruth. I think she had this life, and you almost imagine there just being a certain emptiness to it, right? Like, at this point, her husband's passed away. At this point, she's kind of gone from everybody. She's only got Naomi and Orpah, and it's just really all she got. Like, she's not financially stable, like, because she's on her own. She's with Naomi, her mother-in-law, her father-in-law has passed away. Like, there's a lot of bad things going on in her life, and she has this kind of realization that it's like, man, maybe there is something better. And what I love about that story is Naomi was like, hey, I'm going to go back to the land where I'm from. I'm going to go worship my God. And there's something in that where Ruth went, I don't know what's really going on there, but it seems better than what's going on here, right? Like, just the glimmer.
The glimmer of hope, yeah.
I can't imagine she knew a lot about the land. I can't imagine she knew a lot about that, like, about God. Like, it's just, there's just something that caught her eye. Like, the easy answer would have been just go back home, like, and figure it out, and maybe it'll work out. But she kind of experienced that life, and I know in all of us there's this life where we're like, huh, I'm missing something, right? I'm missing something, and I think she knew, even if she went back, even if it was the safe route, that she was still going to be missing something, because her life at that point was like, wasn't something clicking.
Yeah.
So there's this opportunity for her to really see this glimmer of hope and go, okay, I don't really know what that is, but I'm going to go try to experience it.
Yeah. The idea there of the glimmer of hope and trying to go after it, trying to experience it, it's a tough decision.
Tough decision. Yep.
Because of the unknown.
Yep.
So I'm gonna try to get real practical and ask a tough question then. How do you help somebody who's dating and they know that the way they've been dating has just not gone well, and they need to turn from that and walk towards God, even though they don't totally know if God's going to work or if God's got somebody out there for them? The easy route is to stay here.
Yep.
The easy route is to do the Malon and Kilion and just find somebody right there and just date them and just let it be. But the difficult decision is to actually turn and walk. And there's a glimmer of hope, like you said. But how do you help somebody have the courage to do that? Because, I mean, this is real life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know at your campus you've got, 60, 70, 80, young adults who are navigating this right now. So how do you help them have the courage to actually make that turn and walk towards God, even though they don't know exactly what to expect?
Yeah. I think it comes down.
And while he's thinking, because I just asked him a tough question.
Bomb of a question.
These are not.
No.
Like I didn't prep you with this. This is just real life conversation because there's somebody wondering that right now.
I think it's, what are you willing to risk for something better? What are you willing to sacrifice for something better? Are you willing to sacrifice those momentary feelings you have for somebody for a better life, right? Like yesterday, I talked about how we need to turn away from false idols, whether that's people in our lives, that's a job, that's a drug, it's a drink. I talked about how maybe we need to sacrifice, turn away from a certain type of relationship or a certain person in a relationship. I said you also maybe need to turn away from some sort of sexual sin, maybe living with someone that you aren't married to, or maybe like a porn addiction or something like that, right? Like these are tough things that those are, and those things are things that envelop your life, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to be willing to say that risk is worth it. Naomi or Ruth, she knew that when she chose to follow Naomi into the land, she was choosing singleness. She knew she was turning away. She knew she was giving up her old life and those other gods and those false idols and that lifestyle that was tied in. It was because she saw the potential of a better life, right? So very practically, it's doing a little bit of detachment and taking a step back and going, if this is the best life I could have, is that good enough? And I would say for most of it, it's probably not, right? Like I could look at my life right now, and if I just took a second to take a step back and look at some aspects of my life, I go, this is not the best life I can be living. I need to sacrifice this. I need to turn away from that. I need to change this emotional thing about me, or I need to step away from having this waking up at 9 a.m. or whatever, right? Like there's things in our life.
Really? Remember, you're a couch today.
I'm just saying, I do think today would be a great day off. But you know what I'm saying? Like you have to take a moment, like step back and go, yeah, this isn't the life I want to live, right? Like, and here's the tricky thing: we think that we have this life that we're living right now is really good in the moment. In the moment, it's always, especially if there's an emotional attachment. You know what I mean? Because you're like, oh no, it'll get better, and this will be okay, and we'll work on this. And again, if you're married, that's what you have to do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's no questions here. Right now we're still talking about if you're single. Okay. So make sure we clarify that.
And here's a way to tell. I know a lot of times when I mess up or I sin, like if I choose to do something, I'm like, this will make me feel good right now. Like, give it like 2 minutes after whatever I do, you don't feel good. You don't feel good, right? Like there's an emptiness and sadness to you. So it's like, recognize that feeling and recognize, oh, I don't have to feel that way ever. Like you can choose not to live that life, and that would be awesome.
Yeah. All right, so let me ask one more question.
Yeah.
For the single people. So just to wrap that up, it's being willing to take the risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the reward.
And frankly, it only feels like a risk. It's not a risk.
That's right.
It only feels like a risk. It's the most sure thing you could ever do.
Is bet on God.
Yeah, it's a great option. But
The odds are always in his favor.
Right.
I just went old school on that one.
I don't know that reference.
If you see, that's what I mean. You don't even know that reference. But if you can text me, Instagram me, or whatever that reference, we'll give you a free drink at the coffee bar. First one that does it. Anyway, last question. Again, for those who are single right now, how can you best serve the Lord in your singleness? Really, I know this really is whether you're single or married, but specifically thinking, if you're single, what's the best way you can serve the Lord?
Just always do the next thing God calls you to do. There is a beautiful thing about being single, where it said in 1 Corinthians where Paul's like, you have time to go do stuff, right? Like that is a great thing. So there's gonna be opportunities for you to serve the Lord and serve the church and do things that other people just won't have the time or the ability to do. And you can take full advantage of that. You can live a life that's completely and fully on mission where you're not distracted by other things. So I think the practical thing here is just go, okay, what does God want me to do next? Oh, you get asked to go serve at a kid's service on Easter, right? Okay, I'll go do that, right? Oh, I'm gonna go help out at Night Shine. I'm gonna go do that, right? Like, oh, I got asked to start a small group and I'm not a part of a small group. Sure, yeah, I'll jump in on that, right? Like, there's just some availability.
Because you just have availability of time,
right?
Especially if you're a young single. Maybe not talking about a single mom here, but especially a young single.
You know, you want to be careful. You don't want to overload yourself, but if you're listening to God and what He's telling you to do, you'll know if He's telling you to do that or not. And if you know He's telling you to do that, go do it.
Yeah. And even I'm gonna just add on to here. There's even a next level. Like I can go do a year-long mission trip. Like I can go move to another country because I'm single. You know what I mean? I can move to another state and serve the kingdom there.
Yeah.
That there is a benefit. You know, Paul in his singleness, if you just even look at Scripture, he was bouncing around planting churches like crazy because he could.
Yep.
You know, so guys, that's about it. We've got to start to wrap this up. We've talked a bunch about being single today. Because we're in chapter 1.
Yeah.
We get into chapter 2 and 3 and 4. You're going to hear a lot more about dating, courtship, how to operate inside of your marriage. So hang with us if you're married and keep this going. But man, this is fun today.
Good time.
This is something that we're just going to try to do on a weekly basis, just to have an interaction that helps us maybe just talk about the weekend and the series and the message just a little bit deeper. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Would love to hear some comments. Clay, we talked about sliders at the Super Bowl. If you have a favorite Super Bowl food, you're welcome to let us know about that as well. And if you can answer that little trivia question I threw in the middle, you just let us know. All right, guys, that's about it. Man, thanks for joining in, and we'll catch you next time on Coffee Conversations. I don't even know if we're going to call it this.
We're working title this thing.
Working title. It's just a workshop. But we are at C3, so it kind of works. All right, we'll catch you later. Peace.